Well, hello, model car fans. Welcome to the Muscle Car Modeler. My name is Ral. And this weekend, I really enjoyed a swap meet here locally that Mike Chalawa puts on with a lot of the vendors in the area and a lot of friends and hobbyists. And it's strictly just a model kit swap meet, which is great. He tends to do, I think, 3 a year, maybe 4. And it's a lot of fun, and that's how I spent my Saturday, this last Saturday. And some of the other guys have been putting up videos of it as well, of their stash ads and enjoying the show. Matter of fact, I'm going to put a link to BG's model workshop. Mrs. BG did a video going around showing all the tables and all the collections. I didn't do that. I just was there, just having a good old time. Many of us were there as far as the local YouTubers. So a good chunk of us were there and had a really good time. And I'll put a link in the video description below of her video, which shows the entire swap meet. And you might even spot the few that I picked up while I was there on the tables as I did. And I got a kick out of her video because I could hear myself in one particular part chatting away in the background, and I was just having a good old time. But getting to the kits that I had picked up, and as you guys know, I'd recently featured my buildup of this kit on my channel, and had a really good time. And I mentioned that I'd like to get my hands on another one maybe and build a convertible. I did get some comments and a few people letting me know that if I wanted one, I can have one, or made an offer or whatnot, but which is always fun. It's always fun. But my friend Scotty in Tucson, real good friend, he always asks me, is there anything you're looking for? Is there anything you might want that you're keeping your hands on or eye open for? And I mentioned this one and another one, and I'll show that one. And he's like, oh, okay. I'm like, but they're not must-haves. I'm not dying for them. I'm never really in any particular hurry to get a kit, only because I have quite a stash now, and there's no shortage of models for me to build. Every now and then, from time to time, I get into a bind where I find a missing part or something I didn't know, or I change direction and I need to find a part. But getting into this one, I already made my notes. You know, I mentioned that I'd like to do a convertible version, so cutting it into a convertible, real easy to do on this one. Coming up with a boot shouldn't be too difficult. But yeah, I'll figure it out, but it's not on my priority list. But I had mentioned that I do want this kit, and this is from 1996. I believe it's the original release of this. And I know back when I built that one, it hadn't been reissued, and it was shortly after I had finally scored one on eBay and started building it that it was reissued. And since then, been reissued twice. So because of that, it brought the values kind of down, because I remember paying like $30 or $40 for it back then. And now, you know, I didn't pay that now. But there was actually, I believe, 3 of them there at the swap meet. But anyway, this is the Chevelle Z16, so I'll give you a peek of this. And it's been a while since I've actually looked at it, but great directions. The decals are in here. So, you know, not much to the decals on this one, but the decals are in here. And it's no options as far as building this one. This particular version, it's stone stock only. But of course, you don't have to build it right out of the box. But there's that. And here's the chrome tree. All stock. You know, the chrome air cleaner, the big block valve covers, separate wipers, door handles, which this was kind of new for the time frame. Console, manual shifter, and then, you know, all the trim here. And then these wonderful hubcaps, you know, the mag wheel looking hubcaps. And then the mirror. We got the wonderful body. And like I mentioned, this should be real easy to cut it into a convertible. And really nice inner fenders, nice engraving. And this one's got a little bit of box scratches on the body, which is not a big deal. Then one of the things I had forgot about, really nice clear parts, but the sun visors are part of the windshield. That makes doing the convertible even easier on this one. So there's that. And then, you know, if you haven't seen this kit, a lot of good parts on here. Got a nice 12-bolt rear end, the suspension, the seats. This seat's in there, it fell off. All the separate springs. hood hinges, heater hoses, which was something you really didn't see. You still don't see it much, but even back then. Here we got a nice big block motor and the exhaust and all the good parts here. Distributor, there's a tack, all that good stuff. And here's a really nice two-piece dash, wheel back, steering column and gear. And then the really nice interior. Not so sure the 6x9 speakers should be visible, but it's pretty cool, but more of an 80s touch in my opinion. But I really don't know on a 65 Chevelle on that. And here's that other seat. And then very nice chassis pan and everything. And this kit, I remember not really having any issues building it. And of course the little red taillight lenses. So lots of good stuff in this one. So I know it's just brief, just going right over it real quick. So we'll get this all packed away and grab the other one. Now, oh, and the tires, which they're pretty decent tires, but I'm not a real big fan of these Michelin TRX ones that they had back then. They got a nice little plane on the inside and you can put the red lines on them, but they got the Michelin TRX ones, which decent tires for the time. There's some better ones out there, but I'll probably use them, just paint the white wall on them. I think they were yellow lines on the original car. Get all this back in the box. All right, and that's this score. Next one, I know, another Corvette. But I have my plans for this one, and I basically wanted to find another one of these 68 Roadsters that has both tops and all this stuff. Now, I knew this one was a 2-in-1. I've kind of seen it before, but I decided I was going to, look for this one because I wanted the convertible body and both tops. Plus, I knew this one had all of the L88 parts in it, which is what I had just finished building. But it had all of those parts, and it's got some really nice custom parts in it as well. Really nice Moroso valve covers, a blower, all kinds of good stuff. Plus, it's the only one, I believe, that has the small block hood, even though you got to cut the hole out of it. But don't know if I'll actually use it, because I know what I'm going to do with this one. My plans is to make the 69 ZL1 Roadster, that orange one that went to auction recently and sold. I want to build that one because it's a Roadster and I really like that color. But I specifically searched for this one of these versions of kit because I don't have it and it's got a lot of cool stuff in it. Got some really nice decals here and flames. I actually like these flames. I don't know what I'd use them on, but because the way they're made, they kind of look like they'll only fit this. All these parts are very familiar. It's all the same chrome from your standard 69 kits with the regular mirror. And all this and all the same stuff I had just used on the L88. But here's the custom stuff. Got custom wheels, the side pipe exhaust, all the blower parts, Moroso valve cover, and which is right here. The rest of the missing stuff here that fell off. The tri-carb air cleaner, the missing valve cover. There's the L88 hood, both rear windows, windshield, air cleaner, blower base. And that's the L88, but the ZL1 uses the same parts there. And then the rest of this is pretty much the same, except for a few parts in here that are added. There's the 68 taillights. And these tires, the Goodyear Radial GT tires there. Full set of those are in there. Of course, the body. There's a bit more flash on this one than my other one, but it's a re-release, as the orange one I did was the original release. All of this is very familiar, both tops, which is what I was searching for. The 68 interior. One exhaust pipe has fallen off. Here's the 68 dash with no radio, no glove box thing. All the rest of the parts here, pretty much same there. Here's that small block style hood. Molded shut, which is kind of cool. but it's got this big old massive remove on the bottom side. You could fill that in and kind of do a texture to it if you want to hide that a little bit better. There's a way to do that with putty, especially epoxy putty. But I really don't have any plans on this, but that's for the parts box. And then, of course, all of this with 68 door panels, missing exhaust pipe that fell off. But all the parts are in here. So we'll put this one back. And I got one final kit to show you, as I only picked up 3. And we'll get to that here in a second. But if you like this contact and everything, please subscribe and hit the like button and everything. I really appreciate it. It helps the channel and the algorithms and everything. And love your comments, of course. That's always fun for me. But yeah, if you really like this content, please consider subscribing. And back onto it. Here's the last one I picked up. Now, I've got a few street rod kits. I built a few street rod kits. I enjoy these as slump busters, basically, because my main focus is muscle cars, as you know. Love muscle cars. But every now and then, you need something to just break it up. So I'll do a custom, a street rod, and whatever floats my fancy. Exotics and 50s cars. Like all of them, but a lot of them I like to build out of the box. I've seen this kit a few times, and I saw it there, and I was like, okay. And I decided I would go around and, as I was enjoying the show. And by the way, this one I got from Mike Chalawa and his collection, or his table of things for sale. The other 2, Scotty helped me with. I've got a picture of me and him that his wife took a picture of, just having a good old time standing at his table. So I'll post those up. So thank you for those pictures. I actually liked them, and I wanted to share them with you guys. So post those up there. And then, but this one, it caught my eye, and I decided the show was kind of getting over with. A lot of the stuff was purchased up and it's getting snatched up. And I went back by, and it was still there. And I'm like, for 20 bucks, I kind of wanted this kit. I like woodies. I like wagons. And the 2-in-1 part on this one kind of made me curious, because I'm looking at the box. I didn't have time to really read it, the show, but the kit's from 2007. But I only see one thing on the box art here. And the back opens up, which is funny because it's supposed to show a really nice interior, detailed interior, but there's really not much there. And then this really nice engine, and this full on, but every picture here is of one design. So I was kind of curious what the 2-in-1 part of it was. So of course this one was sealed, and so I opened it up, and but I dragged it home. I didn't have this one, so I haven't really opened it. But it's got a multi-piece body, firewall, radiator, hood over here, the small block Chevy engine, I believe. I'm not really sure exactly what engine that is. It kind of looks like a small block Chevy, but the tranny's kind of odd. Really simple dash there, but there's some good stuff there. But here's the body sides, and then the rest of the pan here. But I noticed these wire wheels in here. I'm like, okay, that's kind of interesting. There's the tailgate. And then these really small rear windows. So I thought that was interesting. And then I pull out the directions, and I noticed these panels here, you can kind of make it a woody delivery, which is kind of interesting. I don't know if I'll build it that way. You got this custom exhaust, and then the radiator, steering wheel, torque 2-axle. I think it's kind of funny to have the torque 2-axle in this car. So it's kind of street rodded, kind of not. Some really nice chrome with these big wheels. I love these wheels. They look good. I'm sure I'm going to use them. Lowered windshield, or headlights, I mean. And then it's also got this radiator shroud, core support, the bumpers, and then a not so lowered headlights set up here. And then all the carburetors. So it looks like 6 1-barrel carburetors on an Offenhauser intake or something like that. Weiland. Yeah, it looks like it actually says Weiland on there. And then the exhaust manifolds, which all lead me to believe this is a small block Chevy. that's in here. But then I had to check out the directions. Oh, of course, the windshield, the 2 sets of headlights, really nice low profile tires, which aren't quite that low, but I like these. And then this set of big and littles, which I love for a lot of the muscle car builds. So it's kind of surprised to see those in there. So obviously it's not a 2-in-1 stock one. These decals are pretty cool. As you got 2 different wood patterns, colors, so you can make them there. And you got the disc brakes and some pretty cool stuff on there. But here's where I pull out the directions. I started to look at. I'm like, okay, what are the 2-in-1 parts? Because there's not a high parts count in here. I obviously only saw one engine. So I was looking it over. And then, you know, so there's no options on the engine. No options here. So I didn't see any options here other than you've got these exhaust pipes and that exhaust pipe with a muffler. So, okay, so basically you got a muffler option and a non-muffler option. And while this has a really nice Ford logo on the muffler, it's just kind of odd, and then a cross flow muffler like that. So I don't know if I'd actually use that, especially with the solid axle back there. And then here's the wire wheels with the muscle tires. So they're more of a steel, more modern wire wheel, but give you a little bit of a vintage look. No white walls. No real custom here. Here's all the body. That's the only firewall, the chrome firewall, which I think is really cool. The billet wheel, then you got a more vintage stock looking steering wheel, but the dash and everything on there, and then decals. But here's the wood paneling, and then here's the window block offs right there, so you can close off the windows and make it more of a woody delivery. But look, you know, it's got 4 doors. And then here's the close off panel if you do the delivery. And then the rest of the, you got the 2 different radiator shrouds. You got the 31, and then you got the more custom one, which looks a bit more like a 32. I probably would go with this one because it's just more different. You don't quite see that one as often. And then, you know, you got your lowered and your normal headlights. Then again, it shows you the custom exhaust here. So they're showing it again. But I think you got to put that on later because of the body mounts. And then here's the finish with the wire wheels and tires versus the more modern one, which this is the look I prefer, but probably the more vintage radiator of the 2. But you know, it's kind of a interesting kit, and one that really got my attention. I was like, all right, I'll add this, and when I get the spur to build one of these street rods or get something going differently on it, I'll do that. But it's kind of funny how it's so far in the box and there's really not much in there, but it's still got your normal size good guys box. But seems pretty cool. So these will go in my stash and I'll eventually get to them, but I have plans for those 2, and this is one for whenever I want to, you know, change my pattern or slump and go into it. But don't really have that much of a problem because I hop around and do so much. But figured I would show you these in my stash, and you know, I can get more into what's in my stash and future projects. But this is what I had this weekend, and I had a really good time at the swap meet. Hung out with a lot of people, spoke to a lot of people, still getting used to people coming up to me that, you know, watch my channel and enjoy this, and you know, it just kind of surprises me still. You know, it's like, hey, I like your channel, I like what you do. So, oh, great. I'm getting used to it. But so if I come off kind of startled, it's, you know, still not kind of used to that stuff, and it doesn't bother me. It's just kind of odd, but I enjoy it. I'm just getting used to it. But thank you for tuning in, subscribing, and all your comments. I really appreciate it. And you guys, you have a wonderful weekend, and I'll see you next Saturday.